Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and then you Novak,
अरे बाप रे,
basically. Yeah.
अरे यहाँ पे तो आपने बहुत कुछ कह दिया.
Not only
apart-
nickkyrgios, the lack of focus shows in his fan also.
ठीक है, राफा, रॉजर, नोवाक भूलो मत आप लोग कौन हो. Tennis has some of the most loyal fan bases in the world. Today, I, Saarthak, am in conversation with 4 such tennis fans who've been the loudest cheerleaders of their heroes. We have the Roger Federer fan, Vishaka Khandelwal. We have the Novak Djokovic fan, Ankit Singh. We have the Rafael Nadal fan, Rupak Devangan. And of course, to add some masala, some spice, some flavor, we have the nickkyrgios fan, Chandrak Shukla. Welcome to the show, guys. And
Thank you.
My
Thanks.
first question is to you, Chandrak.
Yeah.
nickkyrgios क्या कर रहा है, मतलब उसके साथ क्या करना चाहिए ताकि वो वही राह पर चले, where the goats walk, मतलब उस गोट के दर्जे तक उसको कैसे पहुंचाया जा सकता है?
Yeah, nickkyrgios is goat. You can't say कि goat की राह पे चले. He's a goat, basically. You can't say कि he's not greatest of all. मैं आपको पहले ही बता रहा हूँ कि nickkyrgios is someone जो he's greatest of his own time. वो ऐसा बंदा है कि जब वो चाहेगा तब वो जीतेगा, जब वो चाहेगा तब हारेगा.
You know, I think Nick is the goat in his own bubble.
Yeah.
And that bubble is not too big. It's a small bubble.
Is
That's
it?
there.
Yeah.
That's just his own bubble. That's there.
That
But
is
that's
what I
also
feel.
sort of a quality that people have. So if whatever makes him sleep at night, so if that works
Yeah.
for him, then sure.
I think he was himself surprised he made it to the Wimbledon final.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
but before Wimbledon started, I won't say surprisingly, he announced that he's one of the best players on grass, and he proved it this
He
time
is
by
actually.
making it to the
And
finals.
I think he said he's like top 5 or top 10 on grass.
Yeah.
He poised himself to be the favorite to probably win. I can't recollect that too well, but I think he said something like that, and he sort of lived up to the
That's what I'm saying. Na, he can predict about himself. You know, जब भी मेरा मन होगा तब मैं जीतूंगा, जब भी मेरा मन होगा तब मैं हारूंगा.
And
It's not कि मेरे सामने.
Just to add to one more point in your line, that whenever he feels like he produces the result. So एक किस्सा मैं बताता हूँ निक का. इस बार उसने हार्ड कोर्ट सीजन के बाद और ग्रास सीजन के भी पहले उसने टोटली ऑफ ले लिया. उसने हार्डली एक इवेंट खेला है यूएस में क्ले का. And can you imagine what that guy did say about skipping the clay season? He said, I'm not gonna work hard on the clay. Next year, I'll come and play French Open because my girlfriend wants to see Paris. So I'll go and play French Open. So that's the kind of man he is. So he's his own master.
बिल्कुल. तो चंद्राक जी, आप ऐसे बंदे के फैन क्यों हैं, मतलब वो बताइए. आप जो सीरियसली ले ही नहीं रहा है टेनिस को.
अब क्या बोलूं मैं, मतलब बैकबेंचर स्टोरी सुनी है ना आपने.
पर एक चीज, चलो अभी कॉन्वर्सेशन आगे बढ़ाते हैं. बिग 3 की बात करते हैं.
किसी को भी
चलो on behalf of Chandra,
Saarthak,
let me just on behalf of Chandra, I would add 1 point in favor of Nick. Okay, so on stats, on paper, Nick has a better head-to-head record against Djokovic and Nadal. So there you go. I have given you 1 point, Chandy.
I don't think he's better head-to-head against Rafa. I think
then you also gave
he
a
has.
point as a Federer fan. Then you also gave me a point indirectly. So you
Right.
better see where this race is going.
So I mean, the Rafa fan Rupak is saying that he doesn't have a better head-to-head.
Yeah, he's 6-3 down against Rafa in the head-to-head. 6-3 down, Kyrgios.
So I think the Djokovic and Federer fans are happy, but
He's
Rafa
2-1
fans,
against Novak. He only leads Djokovic among the big three. He only leads Djokovic among the big three when it comes to the head-to-head.
तो अंकित आपने सेल्फ गोल मार दिया अपनी तरफ.
Yeah.
तो मैं जोकोविच हूँ ना, मैं जोकोविच फैन हूँ. I admit that he has a better, but the small,
Big
you know, the
बिल्कुल जोकोविच की तरह एक बड़ा हार्ट है आपका. You know, very giving.
Exactly. Sample size is very small.
But see, I am a Kyrgios fan. But
Yeah.
I was pretty sure Kyrgios is not gonna win in Wimbledon finals, you know.
Yeah. That's why Kyrgios is for you.
I think he
अच्छा,
will take it to the big.
मैं आपको
ताकि जोकोविच को वो गिफ्ट दे सके वो ट्रॉफी. तो अच्छा एक चीज बताओ, जो रूपक आप बताओ कि ये जोकोविच और आपकी जो अभी चल रही है, अभी बिग 3 से बिग 2 ही दिख रहा है हमें. तो आप थोड़े से अभी 21 पर जब ये आ गए हैं, तो रूपक आपको क्या लगता है ये 22 आपका अभी क्रॉस हो जाएगा?
पहले तो मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि जोकोविच को यूएस ओपन खेलने को मिले. We need him at the US Open, you know.
Just allow him and watch the glory unfold.
Yep. I think one way or the other way. I think whether it's Rafa or Novak, I really want him to play every single major. You know, obviously I want Rafa to lead the major race when they finish their career, but I want Novak to participate in every single major.
Okay. Now I want to talk to you, Vishaka, because again the front runner, जहाँ से ये magic शुरू हुआ, जहाँ से ये पूरा artistry शुरू हुई, वो तो Roger Federer ने ही शुरू की. The big three begins, and I think every begins with Roger Federer, and every Federer fan will say that it also ends with Roger Federer. So the GOAT race. I mean, I don't think Federer fans will ever accept that he's out of the GOAT race. So Vishaka, tell us why you feel he's still the GOAT.
I think he's still the GOAT because, like you said, like you began your question, that he's the one who started all of that, right? So, believe it or not, agree or disagree, it's up to you, but he will always be a benchmark against which, the benchmark that he set, and he's a yardstick against which everybody else is measured. Jesse, in 2003, he began his dominance. Then he consolidated his dominance. Obviously, Rafa came in, Djokovic came in, and everybody else. So I think if maybe he would not have established all of that, all those mind-boggling numbers when it comes to Grand Slams or titles or uncountable consecutive streaks of semi-finals, quarterfinals, appearances and everything, whatever you say. So all of that would not have begun if Roger Federer would not have started that. If he would have been at maybe, like 5, 6, 7, 8 majors, so that would have been the record to beat. But he was the one who said that at 20. And I mean, because Grand Slam title count, or if I should say major title count, that is probably the pinnacle of the sport, is what they say. That's how mainstream media sort of, maybe count the GOAT race. If he would not have said that at 20 in men's singles, there wouldn't have been a number to catch. The next best was Pete Sampras, 14. So when he got up to that, and he almost year on year, whenever he could, he kept winning, he kept setting the bar high. So I think that also counts as one of the biggest things. And I think as a Novak fan, as a Rafa fan, and both the players themselves, even they have admitted that Roger has year on year pushed both of them to achieve better. And so has Roger. Even he has admitted that agar ye dono nahi hote, obviously the competition would have been where it is today. And not just competition, but the popularity of the sport. Because Roger Federer,
I think, when you say popularity, yes, he stands out. I think Roger Federer stands out.
Popularity, yes, and even in terms of tennis, not just the way he plays, but the records that he has, that he has set for others to break. So I think his legacy, it's undying. Nobody can taint that. People have, I mean, obviously, with all due respect to Rafa and Novak, both of them, they have surpassed him, but it's only because there was something to pass, right? 21 and 22 are something because Roger said that at 20. And I still believe that, if he makes a comeback whenever he does. So obviously there's a fair shot of him maybe winning a major. I won't say
he got 930 GOAT points,
Sorry?
He's still got 930 goat points, you know.
Yeah.
He's not playing since from 2 years, you know.
Yeah,
He's still
that's
got
there. So I
930.
think that's what that's a drop in the ocean that I think that's there. And yeah, I think that's how Roger started, and then
okay. On the other side, Vishaka, don't you think that he set the bar so high, but there were people who were better and they came and broke it, so they should get more credit? Do you feel so?
They should. Obviously, I'm not saying that those guys they aren't better, but maybe not in an absolute term. There are plenty of other things that they have not broken. It's a couple of major records that are there, but there are still plenty of records that people haven't broken. Like, for example, I think he has made 10 and 8 consecutive major finals. I don't think anybody else has done that, or maybe they have come close. I think Novak and Rafa, they've come close, but they've not come close enough for that. And then, like I said, consecutive finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals, all of that. So those are also records that count. Sure, there are some things or the other in which others are better, but just in that particular record or that particular line, if I may say, that's there. So it's all sort of a mix, is what I believe. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. We'll give it to you. In terms of popularity, when he walked in at this year's Wimbledon, the reception he received, I think that sums up
off the charts. I mean,
that sums up what Roger Federer is. But I think when you see only purely in terms of the Grand Slam tally, the number, yes, he's going to. I don't think he's going to go beyond 20. Does anyone? I mean, I don't see him getting another one.
And you know, recently he dropped a bombshell, like a kind of hint of retirement that he doesn't need tennis anymore. He's happy within his own life. Whenever he sees his kids, he's happy. He's happily living his life, and he doesn't need tennis anymore. So that's a major hint that he might not come back now.
I think he's going to come back.
I want to add something in this.
I'm sorry. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Yes. I was saying that he's probably going to play at Basel this year.
Yeah.
And wherever it goes next year, he's going to come back. Now the man's going to be 41 in less than 30 days. So I frankly, just on a logical point of view, I probably don't expect him. But as a fan, listen, back in 2016, he took a 6-month break. He was back. He had one of the greatest seasons of his life. So I probably wouldn't count him out in terms of that. You know, who knows what happens?
Yes.
Right. Chandra, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
35, 36 at that time. So it was still doable for him. 35, 36. Right now he'll be 41.
But
what happens? It's always... Miracles happen. As a Rafa fan, you must understand that.
I mean, as a Rafa fan, I think he's lived on miracles. I don't know how he fights pain, how he lives with pain. I think that in terms of greatest fighter of all time, Rupak, your man has to be the best. And do you? I mean, but I think Rupak, आप 22 से ज्यादा देख रहे हो? आपको लगता है अगले साल फिर फ्रेंच ओपन जीत लेगा राफा? 15 फ्रेंच ओपन टाइटल्स पॉसिबल हैं?
Yeah, obviously. As long as he stays healthy, he has a shot at every single major he plays. That's what I feel.
But do you think now it's just come down to two men, the big two, Rupak?
It's just big two, Novak and Rafa. You know, let's see.
Chanti, sorry to keep you out of this. Kyrgios, अभी क्या करें? नंबर्स नहीं है, बाकी सब है, पर अननोन्स है, वो इंटेंजिबल्स है, मतलब वो दिखाई नहीं देता वो जो लाता है, तो वो नंबर्स कब आएंगे?
Nick needs to come up with an underarm serve now.
All sorts of new shots.
और tweener.
अंडरआर्म सब में ही तो फंस जाते हैं यार, लोग कोर्ट छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, क्या करें? पहले बोल की See, I tell you my definition, especially if you talk about. So, मतलब legend is always a legend. If you say, मतलब अगर आप बात करो, either it's Novak, it's Roger Federer or Rafael, you know, legend है हर समय. और कोई भी आ जाए, let's say it's Rafa and Alcaraz, right? अभी अल्कराज उसके सामने खेल रहा है तो ही विल ऑलवेज बी लाइक कि वो कितना भी बड़ा प्लेयर हो जाए अल्कराज, उसके दिमाग में हर समय एक चीज चलती रहेगी, यार देयर इज अ गोट इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी, देयर इज अ लेजेंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी, जिसको देख के मैं बड़ा हुआ. सो दिस इज द थिंग. इट्स सी निक किर्गियोस, उसकी प्रॉब्लम इज कि हिज एटीट्यूड इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. आई एडमिट इट. और ही अगर निक किर्गियोस फोकस्ड हो जाए, so I tell you, if निक किर्गियोस is on 40 right now, if he is focused, अगर वो 5 अभी अपने 5 सेशन वो बिल्कुल फोकस उसमें खेल लेना, he's gonna kill it, man.
Yes,
But the major problem of his, he is not focused actually. I don't know.
Yes, I accept. You know,
आपने
he
फोन
has
लगाया,
nature भी होता है.
चंद्रा फोन लगाया, आपने बात की,
काश
क्या कहता है?
मैं तो उसको ऐसे मतलब जैसे बचपन में मम्मी लोग ऐसे पकड़ के ऐसे बच्चे को हिला नहीं देते थे कि क्यों you are not focused on your results, you are not focused on your
he has all the talent, all the shots, one of the huge serves on the men's circuit.
Absolutely.
But he
apart
rightly
from
said that
tennis,
only
apart
the
from tennis,
attitude is his
sorry.
biggest drawback. He doesn't want to go extra miles and
I think Kyrgios is the most talented. मतलब in terms of talent, what he can produce along with say like a Monfils, Dustin Brown, ये जो rare talents होते हैं ना, someone like, I think if Monfils, Dustin Brown, Kyrgios want to play the game, they can do anything on the tennis court.
Exactly. I think
these guys are basically the showstoppers. They just want to put up a show for the fans.
Absolutely.
They produce the tweener, underarm serve, some magic shots, and people go wow. But on terms of results, the consistency they lack, because there comes the attitude, there comes the your work ethic.
Exactly.
No, also I totally agree with this.
Mentality, if you think about it, and if the entire ATP tour all year long it was just exhibition tennis, I think Kyrgios would have excelled, because that's what he's out there for. That's what he's out there for. I think he's a delight to have at an exhibition. I had the privilege of watching him in 2015. So
wow.
There's nothing that he can't do. He can reach for every ball. He can hit every shot from any corner of the court. But the attitude, it's lacking, and it's lacking it's lacking big time. That's what hampers it. I think even in the Wimbledon final, he was leading for a set and a half, if I'm not
and that set and a half, he was quiet. That was the most interesting part.
Was in the game. I was honestly worried for Djokovic. I am never worried for Djokovic as such. But in that final for the first set and a half, I was worried for him. But then it's Novak. If he's losing the first set, that means he's winning the match. So
Vishaka, after the first set in the final, I just tweeted that it's not about the 100-meter sprint, it's about the marathon.
Exactly.
And Nick Kyrgios would soon find that, and he did in the next 2 hours.
He's great at the 100-meter, but about the marathon, and it's all downhill.
I mean, you just can't expect Nick to not trash talk during a match.
The biggest problem what I find in Nick every time is his focus. He's not just a tennis player. He's also a great basketball player also. I always keep checking his posts and everything.
He always does that.
Yeah. But that is what the thing is. He's not focused much. So I can't say much about it, because you can't go in someone's head and say ki bhai aap
he doesn't have a coach. I mean, he and a coach can't get along, because he will listen to only what he feels is right, and I don't know how his family survives in that box. That is so difficult.
In one of the post interviews, he himself said that he does not want to put any burden on somebody like a coach, because he's very tough to handle.
Right.
And just to sum up Nick, after watching him for so many years now, like 6-7 years now, reading so many articles and news publications all over him, he's so much into media. The best adjective to describe Nick Kyrgios is he's a flawed genius. He's a flawed genius. Because he's genius with his game, but there are so many flaws in his character, in his attitude, in his personality on court, whatever you say.
Also, I think is ki, especially if you talk about Nick Kyrgios match, you can't expect what he's gonna hit, how he's gonna play a next shot.
Yeah.
कब volley मार देगा,
He's a maverick. He's so unpredictable.
Very unpredictable in a good way.
Yeah.
And
But
you know, I want to
only problem is.
Go ahead, Chandra. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm done.
I want to bring Rupak in on Rafa's injuries and how he's lived with them, particularly just before the French Open. Rupak, हमने हर time देखा है यार, वो इतनी pain में होता है. He's on crutches and he comes and produces magic on the court. How does he do this? Like Taylor Fritz against, there were these 5-set. It was this 5-set match where he's with a 7mm tear in his abdomen and he goes and wins it. And Taylor Fritz is not somebody you can just beat with a broken like a injured ab. So रूपक क्या है, मतलब ये राफा फैन होने के नाते आपने उनको जब देखा है, ये कैसे करते हैं ये?
I think toughest thing to be is a Rafa fan. You never know when he can get injured during the match or before the match. You know, you have 2014 Australian Open and he got injured during his practice session just before the final. And we thought, oh, we have this French Open. It's done.
Again,
we will win.
Wawrinka, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's just too tough to be a Rafa fan, man. And then he somehow grinds out that match. And from the first round, we saw the taping on his abdominal. He was carrying that, but I think he thought that if it doesn't get bigger, he will try to play on with it. But then in that match, it was just too tough. He somehow just grinded out that match, you know.
And you know, his family wanted him to withdraw that match.
His father and his sister definitely saying to him that it's done, you should quit, you know. And that was only in the second set.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think अच्छा एक इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल चंद्रा, अगर नडाल वो जीत सेमीफाइनल में खेलता, वो जीत के बाद जो फ्रिट्स के साथ हुई, तो वो आपके दोस्त से मिलता, किरियोस से, तो वो जो मैच होती, उसका क्या रिजल्ट होता?
Yeah.
I think Nick would have prevailed that match.
I think Nick would have prevailed and he would have got a good ego boost for sure.
Obviously.
I think
Federer and Djokovic fans are supporting you, and I think Nadal fan Rupak clearly.
और मैं तो ये भी बोलता हूँ कि उसके बाद कंट्रोवर्सीज अपने आप क्रिएट हो रही हो, मतलब कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं थी.
I think he has.
Tsitsipas के साथ हुआ, where Tsitsipas said he's a bully. Do you what is your view on all of it? Do you agree he's a bully? I want to hear from all of you on that.
First of all, I think that match was the most entertaining match of this Wimbledon. Man, what a contest, what a fight, and what a show. In the end,
I was traveling that day, so I couldn't stream it.
In the end of that match, I felt what Tsitsipas said, because I felt for him. Like Nick was actually bullying him, the way he was conducting himself.
I agree.
And Tsitsipas.
But Kyrgios's reasoning is that I've grown up like this, and Tsitsipas is too soft. And I don't necessarily agree with him, but Abhishaka, what is your view on that?
Yeah, I think the way Nick sort of holds himself on the court, he sort of comes off as a bully. A lot of the time, I am pretty sure he wants to do that, but I think half of the time it's just who he is. Although, I mean, you cannot use that as an excuse, but I too felt bad for Tsitsipas, and I feel bad for a lot of Kyrgios opponents, because it happens quite often.
What about feeling bad for the Kyrgios chair umpires? What do they go through?
Oh, I have a lot of sympathy for them.
There is one chair umpire specifically.
There's a very happy smile on Chandra's face.
In this whole call, in this whole thing, I feel like कि भाई उसको ले आओ यार, मेरी जगह उसको बैठा के बात कराओ.
Let me put up a point here. There is a chair umpire specifically. His name is Carlos Bernard. He has a pretty special relationship with Nick. Every time I see him officiating a match where Nick plays, that match cannot end without any controversy, without any
Yeah.
any trash talk by Nick, because he always does something against him, like a point penalty or a game penalty or a warning or something.
Yeah, the bottle thing or code
And
violation.
about Nick, there is some kind of physical aura about him, the way he carries himself on court. So that way, like
I
Tsitsipas
think अभी ना
couldn't
वापस please complete Ankit. Go ahead.
Tsitsipas couldn't beat him on tennis front on that night, and then it just exploded out of his emotions and out of his. He just had an outburst in the press conference that
Tsitsipas, I think Tsitsipas after the match, he was just pissed off.
Yeah.
He was just pissed off. You saw that handshake also.
Yeah,
And
and I can concur on that bully point because I think last year or in 2019 he had an altercation with Medvedev also on a clay court match, and in a sledge he said he's a small cat, like he he can all the time have a conversation or a kind of coaching in Greek with his dad.
Yeah, that
which,
was
which
I
no
think this year Australian Open, if I'm not wrong.
This
it
year
was last year.
Like 2 years back
No,
on
the
a clay
small cat
court.
thing was this year.
Small cat was this year. Yeah, he was in Australia. He was playing against Nick. So yeah, that was this year.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I
And
remember.
he said that to the umpire. He called the umpire.
Yeah, he told that to
It
the
was
umpire.
an epic outburst to see
Yep.
just on camera.
Yeah.
It was so
And it
funny and
being
so
in Australia was all the more for Medvedev because Nick is an Australian and everything, the occasion was perfect for a meltdown, is what I have to say.
Right. Okay. Just in purely going back to the GOAT race, I think clearly, Vishaka, what you stated in this conversation stands out that he started it. Your Roger Federer started it. So he should be given the most credit in the GOAT race. Rupak, do you feel Roger Federer is the GOAT? आपका क्या कहना है?
He's the third GOAT at the moment.
Saarthak, when would I get my turn?
You are getting your turn after Rupak.
Okay.
तो रूपक, तो ये फेडरर फैंस तो कभी मानने नहीं वाले हैं, वो कहते हैं उसने शुरू किया है, तो आप क्यों कह रहे हो वो थर्ड गोट है?
फेडरर फैंस तो बोलेंगे ही ना, बोलने को बचा ही क्या है, यही बोल सकते हैं कि हमारे लिए गोट है.
There are plenty of things that are there.
All the Federer fans will say, yeah, he's the GOAT for us. The Grand Slam race, the Grand Slam number is showing someone else is the GOAT.
It's just one number that's there, and
I think purely
when it comes to clay. Come on.
All three of them have
not taking anything away from Rafa, not taking anything away from Rafa. Obviously, 14 French Open. Pete Sampras had 14 majors, and this guy goes on and wins one on that. I mean, he goes on and wins 14 on that one surface. Obviously, that's legendary. But I feel is like in terms of consistency, Rafa sort of lags. If you look at numbers purely, is what I'm saying. So that is my only, I would say like that's my only thing that's there, not against Rafa, but when I discuss it with anybody, that's there. So lack of consistency probably does not make him number one GOAT is what I am saying.
So Vishaka, you feel Novak is the number one?
No, Novak isn't the number one either. There's a lot of personal bias as well. So, I mean, I would probably say that, and Novak has been, 21 majors, it's just been 1 week, if you think about it. So, you can't, put that in a vacuum. And that's just
okay, here comes the Novak fan. Go for it.
Okay, I think we are running short of time. Only 4:50 minutes are remaining. So, let me have my 2-3 minutes, all right?
Okay, go for it.
So
2-3 minutes on Novak.
I'll build on that, man. I'll build on that. You're the Nick.
Kyrgios अपना banter बंद करिए.
You're a Nick fan. You're just good at trash talking, all right?
Yeah.
Just to build on Vishaka's point, I absolutely agree that he has set the benchmark so high to follow in years to come. That is now being surpassed by Rafa and Joker subsequently. And if I have to put Roger Federer on the pedestal, stats should not come into the picture, because in that category, Nadal and Djokovic are way beyond him right now, and they still have few years left in themselves. All right. On just terms of ability, watchability, and he's so aesthetically pleasing to see. If I have to give an analogy, however good or however big Virat Kohli ends up his career with, he won't surpass the worship that has seen Sachin Tendulkar, right? So in that way, I can see Vishaka why she adores so much Federer, or not only she, the whole world.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main
reasons. He will be the most popular tennis player of all time. There's no doubt about that. All right. But we have to keep stats aside, because on that part, Djokovic is the best all format player, the most consistent in the history. You can check majors, you can check ATP Masters 1000, you can check ATP year-end finals, you can check head-to-head. In all the department, he is ahead of Nadal and Federer. Head-to-head, he is leading against Nadal. Head-to-head, he is leading against Federer. He has won on different surfaces the most number of titles. So on what basis you can degrade Djokovic? There's none.
No, definitely. There's no degrading Djokovic, that's for sure. I mean, I have, though I am a Federer fan, but I have massive, massive respect for both Nadal and Djokovic. That's there for sure, but that's there. If you look at just the stats, and so everything, Roger is within striking distance. It's not too far. There's not a big gap between all of them.
But the gap is going to come soon. That is for sure.
But as of now, as we sit here, the gap, it's not too much. That there is what I would say. And all of them, it's like plus minus, all of those things. Somebody has something, one of them does not have one thing. So overall, I think that it's my personal bias. For me, Roger would be the GOAT, but if I think about it in tennis terms, all three of them, they are somewhere or the other equal, is what I think. And
I think that's a beautiful way to sum it up. Yeah, go ahead, Rupak.
Yeah, I was just saying the Grand Slam head-to-head. The Grand Slam head-to-head. The reason also Rafa has 22 Grand Slam most of all time, I think. He is 21 and 10 or 11, I think, against Roger and Novak combined. So he's 10-6 up against Novak.
Out of 22, 14 has come only on one surface.
Exactly.
And where are his numbers on grass and hard court, man? Check Joker's numbers and you get your answer.
Yeah, he has, but just like Joker, he also has double career Grand Slam. He has won every single major twice. So मैं यही बोल रहा था Grand Slam head-to-head. Grand Slam head-to-head means up against both Roger and Novak. It's 21-10 combined against Roger and Novak. I think 11-6 against Djokovic and 10-4 against Roger. So that's really big, We consider the head-to-head, the overall ATP head-to-head, where Novak leads 30-29. But it's all about the titles. There is a reason why he's at 22. And now, obviously, Djokovic and Federer fans will come up with it's 14 of them on clay. Why didn't you stop him?
No.
Okay, he's leading by only one right now, 22-21. What about other titles? ATP Masters.
What about 1000? Other titles? What about he does not have a single?
What about other surfaces, man? What about other surfaces?
Roger have 6, 5, and 6.
Olympic gold. When did Novak win the Olympic gold?
See,
okay, all right.
Olympic is not considered the pinnacle in tennis.
It is considered as a big title. Man. Come on, man.
ATP World Tour Finals, come on, that has more credibility than
Olympics, in tennis at least.
Exactly, in tennis at least, right. So he does not have one of those. That's there. That is one of the things that's there. Now, weeks at number one. He's lagging.
Roger and Novak's cabinet and Rafa has it. And
why I rate Nadal as the third best behind those two, because Federer and Djokovic both are equally adaptable and equally great on all three surfaces, where Nadal certainly lacks in grass. You can see the results on.
One of the things I would like to add here is that obviously Rafa's record of 14 French Open, it would always be viewed as one of the greatest achievements in any sport, not just tennis. But at the same time, it's not like Roger and Novak did not do good on clay. I think both of them have either 4 or 5 finals at the French Open. Just
No,
because
but
they
I think Novak did good, but I think Roger clearly struggled on clay. He won once, and that once was also against Robin Soderling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fair. But he consistently made finals as well
Rafa
during
made
his
5
peak.
Wimbledon
So if
finals.
it weren't for
Rafa
Rafa,
made
I
5
think even
consecutive
Roger
Wimbledon
probably
finals.
would have had like 5-6 French Opens easily because he was in the final consistently. And I'm not saying that
Rafa
it's
made 5
some
consecutive
early
finals,
run.
and you
That's
come
it.
up with the same argument again on clay. Rafa made 5
But
consecutive
that
Wimbledon
is the
finals.
reality that's there. I am not making something up. It's not a philosophical statement. That's there. And I'm not saying that it's because of Rafa. Roger did not have that. All I'm trying to say is that they are, both of them, Novak and Roger, they have been pretty good on clay. And I think go ahead if somebody else wants to go.
No, I think Ankit, your final thoughts.
Okay, sure.
Rafa
I'll
made
just
5
take 1 minute to sum it up, my thoughts. Roger
Yeah, go
Federer
on.
is the most aesthetically pleasing tennis player of all time. There's no doubt about that. Rafael Nadal is the greatest competitor of all time. But in terms of tennis, in terms of all-round ability, here's your goat. All right, here's your goat.
All right, I think there's we've had a lot of fun on this chat. I truly enjoyed it. I think I'll let the nickkyrgios fan Chandrak have his final few thoughts on the show because the greatest
And
entertainer.
तो यार मैं
Has to
आपको
see
सच
it.
बताऊं, फैन सार्थक स्पेशली मैं बहुत सारे लोगों मतलब if you talk about especially on tennis, yeah, let's say nickkyrgios का fan हूँ, ठीक है, but I'm also a fan of Leander Pace, he's the greatest of all time. Then तो ये सब लोग मतलब they are legends यार, मतलब nickkyrgios ठीक है, he's upcoming, he's playing good, but if you talk about tennis, first thing comes is Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and then Novak, basically. Yeah.
अरे यहाँ पे तो आपने बहुत कुछ कह दिया.
Also, yeah,
भाई को
true.
नाम ही नहीं याद आ रहा है.
I agree.
Former fan of fan.
कीरियोस बहुत बैटर क्रिकेट करते हैं. बोलिए.
Not only
apart-
Nick Kyrgios, the lack of focus shows in his fan also.
Yeah.
No. I'm a fan of Novak Djokovic.
Okay.
Also, आजकल I'm following this guy Ugo Humbert. He's playing very good, So मतलब see, each and every year कोई ना कोई आएगा, कोई ना कोई मतलब नया प्लेयर आएगा, and then उसके हम फैन होते रहेंगे गेम. But स्पेशली अगर आप टेनिस में बात करो और अभी रिसेंट में बात करो 2000 जो हमारा ये अभी चल रहा है,
20%.
तीन ही नाम रहेंगे. ये तीन ही नाम रहेंगे. I'm admit with this. I'm agree with it कि आपका सबसे पहले रॉजर फेडरर, then Rafa Nadal, then you've got Novak Djokovic. प्लेयर्स आते रहेंगे बहुत सारे.
बहुत सालों से हैं. लास्ट 22 मेजर्स में 20
ये रहेंगे.
Because we are
मतलब
fortunate to witness 3 of the greatest ever tennis players in one era.
I think
without
Pete Sampras का 14 बहुत बड़ा benchmark था, and these people have made 20 so normal today.
Exactly.
It
They make
shows
it look very easy, all of them.
I think this conversation will hold more value 10 years, 20 years from today, जब सब सोचेंगे कि what an era we lived in. We were so fortunate that we saw 3 goats at the same time. Imagine एक नहीं होता, दो नहीं होता, तो कोई 30 जीत जाता, कोई 40 जीत जाता, if one or two of these. So that's how lucky we have been.
Andy Murray has been the 4th best player in last 10-15 years, and he himself said that the 3 guys above me are so damn good that they have deprived me of so many titles, and that is a fact.
Exactly. I think we went from big 4 to big 3, and अब हम big 2 पे आ गए. So that's
also मेरा ये सोचना है.
There's been one beat that's there, and there's the mainstream beat that's there.
That's a harsh reality that Federer is.
That Federer fans will have to accept eventually.
I don't really have a problem with that because the guy has been semi-retired for almost 2 years. Yet he is giving such a tough competition. He's not even playing. yet people are catching up to him and passing him.
So in terms of popularity, I think he leads the pack. But
Definitely.
15 of the last 17, Vishaka, 15 of the last 17 majors have been won just by Djokovic and Nadal. So I think in that, just that count.
Bias, if you think about it, that's very recent, is what I would say. But because we're discussing overall, right? We're not discussing GOAT of the past 17 majors or 20 majors.
And
all time.
Vishaka and Saarthak, just to state one final fact, in last decade, after 2010, after the dominance the world has seen at the hands of Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer has only won 4 Grand Slams after 2010. Rafa Nadal has won 10 or 11, while Novak Djokovic has won 20. So you can just understand.
Okay, I think we can go on.
There's an asterisk. You're sort of contradicting yourself.
Rupak, aap kya bol rahe ho?
Not away from anybody though.
There's no grudges, no nothing, no bad vibes.
No, definitely not.
We are fortunate that we have seen 3 of the best ever tennis players. So that's an era that we are.
We'll submit up. We are running short of time. बोलिए चंद्रा.
Last चीज मतलब जाने से पहले we talked about Roger Federer, we talked about Novak, then nickkyrgios, then Rafa Nadal, then other players. I just want let's give 1 minute on leander pace.
Of course.
What do you say?
India's pride. We as Indians were so fortunate we had someone who can fly on the tennis court, and
exactly.
we will have a separate show for him. We'll do we don't want to just bring him in 1 minute. We'll do a long conversation, all of us.
He has been such a great doubles player. The only drawback I see with Leander Pace is I wish he could have been a more greater singles player that he was in a doubles player.
Olympic bronze in '96.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
One of the biggest
achievements. Yeah.
In singles.
Exactly.
And coming from India, obviously. Very
huge. All right. So I think it's been great fun chatting with all of you. We're running short of time. I thank you guys for coming on the show, and I want all of us to do more such conversations because it's the fans that make the sport, and nothing now, no Kyrgios, no Nadal, no Federer will exist without the love and the admiration the fans bring to them. So I think it's great that we had this conversation. In conclusion, we still don't know who is the GOAT. Let's say we were blessed to have 3 GOATs, and we as a generation grew up watching these absolute legends, and we'll have these conversations in the future also. And all of you who are watching this video, I hope you enjoyed, and do let us know your thoughts on the GOAT race. Write down to us, write in the comment section, and we'll keep having such conversations. Thank you. This is Saarthak along with Vishaka, Chandrak, Ankit, and Rupak signing off.